The fictional scenario that has emerged out of Jerusalem is nothing short of shocking, a moment that has reverberated across the region and the wider world. At the center of this account is an Iraqi counterattack that followed an Israeli strike on an Iraqi base, a move that set into motion a retaliatory strike unlike any in recent history. A precision missile was launched, targeting what was believed to be one of Israel's most secure locations, a secret underground bunker in Jerusalem. This bunker had been designed as a refuge for Israel's leadership in times of extreme crisis. And yet in this single strike, its aura of impenetrability was shattered. 14 senior Israeli military officers were killed instantly as the missile penetrated its reinforced structure. The Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, survived the attack but emerged politically weakened, confronted with both domestic fury and international scrutiny. The destruction of the bunker has not only altered Israel's security posture, but also shaken global perceptions about its defensive reputation, sparking debates that extend far beyond the Middle East. Understanding the nature of this fictional attack requires a close examination of the missile strike itself. The Iraqi weapon was not just a random projectile, but a guided, precision-engineered system designed to defeat hardened underground targets. Traditionally, bunkers like the one beneath Jerusalem are reinforced with thick layers of concrete and steel, engineered to resist everything from conventional bombardment to chemical attack. They are equipped with state-of-the-art ventilation, independent power supplies, and secure communication lines, making them ideal sanctuaries in times of war. But in this case, the Iraqi missile incorporated advanced penetrative capabilities, likely with a tandem warhead, designed to pierce reinforced layers before detonating internally. The fact that it succeeded in breaching such a fortress is a testament to both the sophistication of modern weaponry and the vulnerability that even the most fortified systems can possess under determined assault. The killing of 14 senior officers in a single strike represents not only a human tragedy, but also a massive institutional blow to the Israeli military establishment. These were not ordinary soldiers. They were the strategic thinkers, the planners, the top brass responsible for coordinating operations across multiple theaters. Their loss in one moment of devastation leaves a leadership vacuum that cannot be quickly filled. Operational continuity is disrupted. Morale is shaken, and the perception of invulnerability that Israel's defense apparatus has long projected is deeply eroded. For ordinary citizens, the knowledge that even their leader's most secure refuge could be destroyed raises existential questions about personal safety, trust in government assurances, and the future direction of national security policy. Netanyahu's survival, while sparing Israel from an immediate succession crisis, has paradoxically intensified political instability. His critics, already vocal, have seized upon the attack as proof of failed judgment, accusing him of both provoking unnecessary conflict with Iraq and failing to ensure adequate defense measures against retaliatory strikes. Protests erupted across cities, with citizens demanding accountability and questioning whether the government's long-standing reliance on military superiority has now backfired catastrophically. For Netanyahu himself, the experience of escaping destruction, while his senior officers perished, creates a complex narrative, one that paints him as both lucky and culpable, a survivor who now carries the burden of leading a shaken nation without the protective shield of absolute security. From a design and performance standpoint, the Iraqi missile employed in this fictional strike stands as a centerpiece of analysis. Reports suggest it was part of a new generation of precision-guided munitions, incorporating satellite navigation, advanced inertial systems, and a warhead configuration specifically tailored to defeat hardened structures. Unlike older ballistic designs that rely on raw explosive power, these systems use intelligence-driven targeting and engineering to maximize efficiency, delivering destruction where it counts most. Its unique selling point in this case was not just the ability to reach Jerusalem, but to strike with such surgical precision that it hit the bunker directly, bypassing layers of defensive radar-air intercept systems and traditional early warning protocols. The strike raises urgent questions for military analysts. How was Israel's multi-layered missile defense breached? Were there flaws in the Iron Dome, Arrow, or David's sling systems? Or was the missile simply beyond the current capacity of these technologies to stop? The psychological effect of this fictional event cannot be overstated. For decades, Israel has cultivated an image of security, superiority, backed by cutting-edge technology and unwavering Western support. The very notion that its leadership could hide safely in fortified shelters under any circumstance has been an unspoken reassurance both for officials and the public. The destruction of the bunker demolishes that myth in one fell swoop. Citizens now see that there is no ultimate refuge, no absolute guarantee of safety. This creates an atmosphere of vulnerability, breeding uncertainty and panic that spreads far beyond the immediate site of destruction. It also reshapes the narrative of deterrence in the region. Where once Israel could rely on fear of its defenses to deter attacks, its adversaries now see opportunity, emboldened by proof that even the most secure targets can be reached. Internationally, the fallout has been immense. In Washington, officials expressed outrage at the attack, but privately began to question Israel's strategic calculations. Allies who once unquestioningly supported Israeli military campaigns now see the risks of escalation with clearer eyes, aware that provoking regional powers can yield devastating consequences not easily contained. At the United Nations, emergency sessions were convened, with member states divided sharply along familiar lines. Some called for immediate restraint, while others criticized Israel's earlier strike on Iraq as the true trigger for this crisis. The diplomatic turmoil reflects a broader shift in global attitudes where, once Israel could rely on near-unanimous Western sympathy, the costs of unchecked military adventurism are beginning to erode that consensus. Inside Israel, the collapse of public trust has reached alarming levels. The people have long been accustomed to security briefings that emphasize strength and resilience, but in the wake of this fictional attack, those assurances ring hollow. Families of the slain officers openly criticize the government, demanding investigations and resignations. Social media explodes with images of the destroyed bunker site, showing twisted steel, collapsed concrete, and the grim remains of what had been a symbol of untouchable security. In cafes, marketplaces, and synagogues, conversations revolve around the chilling realization that there is nowhere to hide. Nowhere truly safe from the reach of hostile adversaries equipped with modern precision weaponry. Military experts argue that this fictional strike marks a turning point in modern warfare. The use of precision bunker-busting missiles against leadership shelters represents a dramatic escalation of conflict dynamics. Traditionally, even in wars between powerful states, leadership facilities were considered nearly untouchable. A final bastion where continuity of command could be preserved. By breaching this paradigm, Iraq has introduced a new level of vulnerability into the equation. One that will likely force Israel and other nations to reconsider how they design, locate, and defend such critical infrastructure. It also demonstrates the democratization of advanced military technology where weapons, once exclusive to superpowers, are now available to regional actors determined to assert their power. Beyond the immediate military implications, the fictional destruction of the bunker also reshapes Israel's political landscape. Netanyahu, once seen as the embodiment of steadfast leadership, now faces the greatest challenge of his career. His opponents, both inside and outside his party, have ammunition to question his judgment, his policies, and his capacity to safeguard the nation. Calls for his resignation intensify daily, while opinion polls show a dramatic drop in public confidence. For his government, survival now depends on navigating not only external threats, but internal fractures that threaten to tear apart the political fabric of the country. The attack becomes more than a military incident. It is a political earthquake, destabilizing institutions and reshaping alliances within Israel's fractious system. For Iraq, the fictional success of this strike becomes a rallying cry. Its government presents the operation as both retaliation and proof of national strength, showcasing that it can stand against one of the most advanced militaries in the world. Domestically, it bolsters morale, strengthening the legitimacy of leaders who framed the strike as a defense of sovereignty. Regionally, it inspires allies and emboldens resistance groups who see in this act a blueprint for challenging Israel-esque propaganda channels, broadcast images of the destruction, celebrating the humiliation of Israel's military elite, and amplifying the message that even the most fortified enemies are vulnerable to well-planned strikes. Global markets, meanwhile, react with volatility. Oil prices surge amid fears of wider conflict. particularly given Iraq's strategic position as a major producer and the ever-present risk that regional war could disrupt supply chains. Investors move quickly to secure assets, while humanitarian organizations prepare for the possibility of broader displacement and suffering should the conflict escalate. In capitals across Europe and Asia, leaders hold emergency meetings, torn between their reliance on Israeli and American security guarantees and their fear of being dragged into a widening Middle Eastern war. The symbolic dimension of the fictional attack is perhaps its most profound aspect. The destruction of Netanyahu's bunker represents not just the loss of physical security, but a collapse of a narrative carefully constructed over decades. It exposes fragility where strength was once assumed, and it opens a space for reimagining the balance of power in the Middle East. In the days and weeks that follow, every move Israel makes will be scrutinized through the lens of this event. Will it retaliate with overwhelming force, risking further escalation, or will it pursue diplomacy, acknowledging the limits of its power? Will Netanyahu survive politically? Or will this moment mark the beginning of a new era in Israeli leadership? And will the international community step in to mediate, or stand aside as the region hurtles toward deeper conflict?